When shooting space is present, it is an immediate whistle. This foul may not be flagged. Additionally, if a shot is taken and a goal is scored during a shooting space whistle, the goal does not count. It is impossible to know when the goalie relaxes in this situation. Therefore, the penalty stands and the correct penalty setup must be administered. When discussing shooting space, it is important to note that the defenders who are within a stick's length of any attacker, ball carrier, or otherwise are not in the shooting space. Umpires must be positioned to see the space between players to determine whether or not a defender is within a stick's length. Note that the definition of this is literally within the length of a single stick, which does not include the player's arm length. Trail umpires must not be directly behind the ball carriers. They should be offset. What does this mean? To the left or right and not directly behind. This enables the umpire to have depth perception and see through the space. First, let's visualize the shooting space. It resembles an ice cream cone, with the ball carrier being the point on the cone and the goal circle being the ice cream. The edge of the shooting space is where the goal circle meets the goal line extended, not the edges of the cage. Notice the difference. Officials should be aware how shooting space changes as the ball carrier moves toward the goal, and also how shooting space changes as the ball carrier moves from the low-hanging hashes to the middle. Players are allowed to have their sticks in the shooting space lane as long as their body remains safely out of the lane. In the two-person system, the lead official will be looking up at the shooting space lane on her side, and the trail official will be offset looking down the lane for shooting space. When an 8-meter is awarded at the hanging hash and defenders are cleared along the lane, see how many steps it takes to be in the shooting space. Potential shooting space will happen more quickly in this scenario than the next example where the shooting space is set up at the top of the 8-meter fan. Here it will take multiple steps for a defender to arrive in the shooting space lane. The first criteria for a shooting space call is that the attacker must be looking to shoot. Here it is clear the ball carrier wants to get the ball to her teammate behind the goal, and she is not looking to shoot. Watch when she gets the ball a second time. She is clearly looking to shoot. This is something the umpire judges based on circumstances of the play and visual cues from the ball carrier. Watch how differently the player looks when she is looking to shoot. The next criteria needed to make a shooting space call is that the ball carrier must have the opportunity to shoot. This means the game situation presents the attacker a clear and safe way to shoot. Watch as the attacker in double and single coverage is being so tightly marked she has no opportunity to shoot. It is always the shooter's responsibility to shoot safely. She may not shoot through defenders if the defenders are within a stick's length of her or are within a stick's length of her teammates. The following scenes show familiar game situations where shooting space is not present. Defenders who stay with cutters within a stick's length who are being drawn through the shooting space by attackers are not in shooting space. Shooting space is not a 1-to-1 ratio like the 3 seconds call is. It is possible for multiple defenders to be guarding a non-ball attacker. When this happens, none of those defenders are in shooting space. However, some may be in 3 seconds. The attacker is the player ruining the shooting opportunity here, not the defenders. Watch this legal play, which shows a defender with a great understanding of the shooting space rule. Do not penalize the defender who makes a quick adjustment to get out of the shooting space lane. Remember, defenders may leave their sticks in the shooting space lane as they approach the ball carrier, and once they are within a stick's length, can then position themselves in front of the attacker. Here are some examples of shooting space violations. Watch a textbook shooting space call. Officials should be ready to make a shooting space call as soon as the ball enters the critical scoring area. Defenders who choose to mirror the attacker who is playing behind the goal are exempt from the 3-second count in the 8-meter. However, they are still responsible to have ball awareness and to adjust to the play and stay out of the shooting space. Here is an example of a proper adjustment made by an aware defender in order to avoid being in shooting space. Remember, defenders who are drawn through the shooting space who maintain a stick's length marking distance from an attacker are not in the shooting space. When defenders wish to leave their mark to go to the ball carrier, they must do so while staying out of the shooting space. This scenario must be timed appropriately, because when it is not, it will result in a shooting space call. Here is a defender who incorrectly leaves her mark to play the ball carrier. The goalkeeper, while dressed in protective equipment, must also abide by the shooting space rules when she leaves her goal circle. Watch the goalie in the shooting space lane. This must be called. Zone defenses can lead to shooting space being present, since defenders will often be positioned just above the 8-meter but not marking an attacker. Now let's use the ropes to teach officials how to properly administer clearing the penalty lanes. When major fouls occur in the critical scoring area outside the 8-meter arc and play is stopped as a result, the official must clear the penalty lane. When a foul is called in the critical scoring area, officials should be aware of where the players are at the end of the play so they can be moved appropriately. Here are the officials' roles in facilitating clearing the lane. When a major foul has occurred in the critical scoring area outside the 8-meter, the lane will be cleared, and players should be cleared so as to maintain relative position to the ball and other players at the end of the play. Since this play was called by the lead and is closest to the lead, she will direct all players to stand and will set up the foul according to the 7-step whistle plan. Her partner should be engaged in making sure players don't move until they are instructed and that they go where they were told and maintain relative position. When the same scenario occurs on the far side, the trail will need to be more active in assisting the lead and making sure the lane is clear, since only the trail will be able to visualize this. When fouls occur inside the 8-meter arc, the entire arc must be cleared. For major fouls, the arc in the lane needs to be cleared. Players are cleared with respect to relative position and then utilizing the shortest route out. The umpiring crew must work together to assure proper arc clearing. The official who stops the play will be responsible for setting up the foul. The other official will be taking a mental picture of the players at the end of the play and will assist in making sure relative position is maintained. Attacking players may also attempt to move to a more advantageous position to receive a pass or block a defender. Do not allow this. Players will attempt to move to the most advantageous position or will move before they are instructed in order to be at a hash closest to the shooter. Do not allow this. Players often do not understand the rules by which umpires clear the arc. You can use language to help them, such as clear out like spokes on a wheel or rays of sunshine. They must understand that positioning is not awarded on a first-come, first-served basis. Insist they stand until they are directed to move to avoid players jockeying for hash marks.